Hey, yo, what's up, guys? We're back for another episode of the Canadian MMA Podcast with my homie Josh Sounders. What's up, bro?
Not much, man. Just got to watch two sick cards of Canadian MMA this weekend and ready to talk about it. How's all
Yeah,
that
man.
traveling been going, man?
Oh, it's happening, bro. That's what like to put you guys in context. I've been driving for a long ass time. Uh, we kind of split the whole thing out in 12-hour batches. So first day we went from, well, I had to go to I went from my city to my friend, pick up my friend. She's from like another city close by. Then we went to another city out west to meet my aunt, who is the mother of my cousin, who I'm going to her place in Vancouver, basically the place you've been to. So I needed to pick some stuff up because when she moved like 5 or 6 years ago, she forgot some stuff, but there was never a way to bring it by plane because it was too big. So I'm bringing it to her. So I pick up the stuff there. Then then I had to go back to get snow because I forgot my iPad there. Fortunately, it was in Max Carabin's room, so like it was okay. But I had to go back to get snow, which is okay because it was kinda in the way. Like it's either I was going through Montreal and taking a road, or I was going out west and going through Gatineau and Ottawa to take another road. And everything's closed in Montreal this weekend. Like the summer has started, so it's construction season, and there's a reason why Montreal is known for the fucking orange cones and shit. There's construction all over the city, and like you can't move in this city basically. So we decided not to go to Montreal, and I think it was the right choice. So and then from there we drove to Hearst, Ontario, hometown of Claude Giroux, world famous Claude Giroux, and that's 12 hours away from my house. And then today we drove from Hearst 12 hours to Winnipeg. So right now I am in Winnipeg, and for those who listen to the French podcast on Sunday, we're later that day. So when you saw me in Thunder Bay earlier, now I'm in Winnipeg. So I've traveled a lot, man. I don't know what to say, man. It's mixed feelings because like the road is going super well. It's cool with my friend. We're having some fun, and like I think it's going better than I anticipated. Like it's long. Ontario is fucking long, but uh, like I thought it would be way more painful to do it, and like it's going kind of well. But like I won't lie to you that I'm absolutely exhausted right now. It's almost well, I'm on the that's confusing because my computer is still on Quebec time, so it's almost midnight here, but almost 1 a.m. Quebec time. So I don't really know what the fuck is going on at this point, but I'm here and I'm happy to talk about Samurai because I was there and it was amazing. And then to hear about Absolute because I was traveling and I did not like even see the results yet, to be honest with you. So I'm very anxious to see that. So I think we need to start with Samurai. Like there were two cards, but like it's not the same type of action. And with all due respect to Absolute, like it's more like of a homegrown promotion organized by a gym owner, whatever. Samurai is really like angling towards becoming the best promotion in Canada. And like I said on the French show, man, I the way I rank my cards of the year is that I give a grade to every fight, then I do the average for like the whole card. And if I go by this metric, there's no way that this card is the best Samurai card because there were some fights that, let's just say like that, weren't that good. Well, we learned some stuff happened, but like they weren't super entertaining fight, exciting fights. But weirdly enough, I still feel like it probably was the best Samurai card because last event was crazy, first round finishes and everything, and we like that stuff for sure. But like we've seen finishes on that card, but we've seen fights, we've seen like comebacks, we've seen momentum changes, we've seen good performances by people. Like we had the old thing here, not only a card where you go and everybody gets smoked in the first round, and like at 10:30 p.m. you're done when it started at 7. Like I think we left the event, it was past midnight, even maybe close to 1 a.m. and it started at 7. So that was a full 13 fight card full of stuff to talk about. And like I think generally it's probably one of the best samurai event, if not the best, but it's by far the most important for like the way it happened and what it all leads to in the future. So yeah, I don't know what did you think about the event, like the event in general.
I thought it was a great event. It was a really fun watch. You got like I feel like a little bit of everything in it, and some really big names on there as well. Like a couple of years from now, when you look back on this, I feel like it's gonna age very well.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And let's just get into it. Starting with the main event, Julien Leblanc was back home against Salah Eddin Dekisi. And when I said that, that's one of the fight like that weren't the best fights, but that like there's some important stuff that happened in it. I think this was a good fight. There was not a that wasn't a great fight by any standard. It was a good fight, both at their moments. I think. Who did you think won? Like first off, who did you think win the fight?
I thought Julian won, but I wouldn't have been like too mad if it went to Kesey because he got the back, I believe, in the third round for a bit. Correct me if I'm wrong, or he had
It
the
was in the second.
oh in the second, yeah. So
Yeah.
I thought I could have swayed it a little bit, but it could have been 29-28 either way.
Yeah. The thing is, I think round two is very clear for Salah, and round three is very clear for Julian. It just depends how you score round one. I think Salah did the better work standing, was able to take Julien down twice, but Julien popped back up to his feet immediately two times. And to be honest, I think that if you're the guy spending all the energy to bring the fight down and your opponent just pops back up to his feet like it's nothing, like you kind of lose the exchange, in my opinion. And then Julien was able to land like a beautiful outside trip and get a good minute and a half of top control that I will admit, like maybe may not have done the most of it, but was at least able to keep position and clearly win like almost half of the round. So it depends. Like, what do you score most? Uh, I thought Julien did the better work with his takedown, yeah, but with the way that he was able to nullify the takedowns of Salah, which he's a judoka. You knew that he wanted to get Julien down. And like, why I say this fight is important is for Julien Leblanc, man. He tends to get in his own head and to like doubt himself in situations, and like his past fights where he lost, it's because of the takedowns. It's because he got taken down and was not lost on the ground, because I know he's a good grappler. I've trained with him plenty times, but um like I don't know, man, he kind of got like discouraged or even like kind of like bummed out that the way the fights were going, but like mid fight, and he kind of stopped trying. And the way that he never stopped trying here, even though it was a hard fight, like a very hard fight, it's good, man. It's good to see that. It's good that, yes, I knew that he was kind of in his head in this fight too. He looked good all week, but I had the chance on Friday morning, which was absolutely amazing, to go to Patnode and just be there with all the guys doing like their activation, their like light workout the morning of the fight. And like all the Patnode guys were there. Tommy Morrison came, Charles came with Louis to prepare. So I had the chance to see all these guys warm up. And when Julien came, like there was something like not in the way that he was moving or anything, but you could see that like he wasn't the same Julien as usual, like the guy that just comes there and talks to you and everything. He was kind of a little silent and like he looked stressed out basically. So that got me very worried for the night. And the way that he just like overcame the adversity and overcame the adversity by doing what he was not able to do in his two losses, and even getting some takedowns of his own and getting some grappling success of his own. That's like huge for Julien Leblanc. And like that meant so much to him to be in the main event in his hometown. You saw the reaction that he got from the crowd. Him and Alain Majoric sold like most of the tickets for that event, which was packed, man, which was very packed in an arena that hosts a junior major hockey league team. So it's a big ass arena. and there was a lot of people, man, in that place. So that's also very good for the promotion to see that Gatineau showed up to the event, and like it was massive. There were some people from CBC there, like lots of media and everything. So that's very cool for the promotion. But yeah, I'm kind of all over the place. But Julien, like he overcame what he wasn't able to overcome in his last fight. That by being there and feeling all the pressure of all the people that were there to support him and everything. So huge step forward for Julien. I know that like he may have wanted a finish or something super exciting here, but he was able to overcome basically what he was doing wrong in his last fight. So major props to him. And I, like I said on the French show, this guy, like if you put all the fighters that I know together, this guy is one of my closest friends, like amongst all fighters. So of course I'm super happy and thrilled for him that he got to live this moment in front of his people.
Yeah, that's like the biggest thing that I don't know. I was just super happy for him to get that moment. It was a really great way to end the card in a closely contested fight like that. And props to Casey for coming out and putting on a great fight.
Yeah, and Salas is in Montreal now. He's established here and he trains at Track Fit. So I guess we hope that we see him back because he's a good fighter, man. And in this division, there's a couple of matchups that could be cool for him. So, like let's say Salah Eddin and Gordon Cunningham, that could be pretty nice as a fight. So, let's see if he sticks around, but we surely hope he does, man.
Yeah, he would be a great addition to the Samurai roster for sure.
Yeah. Then that title fight, bro. I got to call a fucking body snatcher, fucking liver shot KO. That was amazing, bro. It's just one of my favorite moments ever. I'm just so happy. Jesse Ronson is the best, and he's always gonna be the best, man. He's the fucking man, and I don't never want to hear anybody doubt him again. This guy, bro, is different. He's unbeatable in Canada, and he fucking went old school on that one. And there's nothing, as a day one Jesse Ronson fan, there's nothing that makes me more happy than fucking see him like fool the guy in the first one with a body punch. So it was just the best, man.
Yeah, it was another great performance by Ronson here since he's come back to Canada. He snatches another body and defends his belt in Samurai. But Vargas came out crazy as expected, but Jesse was just able to hit him with the cleaner shots, and he was much more technical. Looked a lot more powerful too, as the result would show. But it was just super sick to watch this one. Great matchmaking from Samurai, and great job by Jesse. I'm interested to see what they do now with if he sticks around there, with what they do with the belt, if they give him that shot at the new weight class, which you got to do.
Yeah, man. Well, I'm gonna ask you later on what you would do because I think there's a couple of things, couple of ways that we can go here, and I don't really know which one is the best. So, but let's wait on that first. Let's talk about Alex Morgan, bro. He whipped that poor guy. He out grappled the grappler. I kind of had an itch that was gonna happen because I knew that Nagata was going to shoot heavily on Morgan, and he was way smaller than him, and he was not as good as him. So I knew that Morgan was probably gonna sprawl on him and have a chance to get some success of his own on top, and that's exactly what happened. Nagata was too tough to get finished, but that's about it. So like it wasn't a very exciting fight or whatever, but it just goes to show once again that there's pretty much nobody that you're gonna bring to fight Alex Morgan, and that it's gonna go good for him. So props to Alex, man, to just keep the ball rolling, man. He's two in a row now, and fuck, like I know he wishes that he had a finish here, but it's gonna be for next time, bro.
Yeah, what a performance by Morgan in this one. Like his striking looks sharp as ever, and just like he's so measured from range, it's crazy how well he manages the distance and just the leg kick game. He always seems to, when he like just dominate it very well, just gets out of the way like perfectly and doesn't waste a bunch of energy trying to avoid them. But yeah, it was very impressive seeing him out grapple the grappler and get in very dominant positions as well. So hats off to Alex Morgan. It was a great performance by him.
Yep. Then Louis Jourdain is a monster and he got a TKO win by submission. That was hilarious. And Diego Silva wouldn't tap. And after the fight, he was like, "Hey, bro, I don't understand why they stopped the fight." I'm like, maybe because you were like sitting there holding your elbow and not going back to your corner. That might be the reason. But nah, Louis is disgusting, man. This fucker weighed like 150 pounds in the cage.
That's not
Like
fair.
he looked like hell at the weigh-in, but like he got the weight cut down and he fucking made weight and rehydrated. Hey, he looked as big as Charles, bro, in the gym. So it's just it's unfair, man. It's absolutely unfair because, like I said, the thing that I don't like when I see bantamweights dropping to flyweight is when it's like a non-athletic or like a guy that's not super fast and he's like, oh yeah, I'm not good enough to be a bantamweight, so I'm gonna just be the bigger guy at flyweight and try to weight bully people. And Louis Jourdain is not that. Louis Jourdain is still fast and super athletic for a flyweight, but he's also the biggest fucking flyweight you're ever gonna see. He's 5'9", and yeah, he's a fucking problem. He's gonna be on the contender this summer. I'm pretty sure about it. All of his teammates are going. So why wouldn't he go? He's a Jourdain. He's like 25, 26 years old. Like he checks every box, man. So for those hoping to see him fight Tommy someday, probably not gonna happen like at this level at least.
Fuck, sorry, man.
No worry, man. It happens.
That was crazy. Like the way that he looked on the feet early on, those kicks were so nasty. Like those teeps to the body were just getting shot out there so fast, and even just some normal uh, body kicks. And yeah, it looked like he was gonna rip his shoulder apart and take his arm home with that Kimura. I thought they might do a verbal submission for a second because he was like grimacing, and if he let out any like scream or something, they might have had to because that was just nasty. But yeah, Louis Jourdain is a problem at 135 and 125 even more so because yeah, it's he's a problem at that weight, and would be very surprised if he doesn't get a call up to a bigger promotion very soon. 'Cause-
Yeah, no, for sure, man. He's right there. Then we got the probably the round of the nine followed by I don't know followed by what, to be honest, like two of the most gassed out people that I ever seen in my life still trying to fight. uh, like Juan Ramon Grano is a special guy, like a special fucking guy. If you've seen the face off at the weigh-in, that's kind of like what he is, man. The guy is insane. The other Mexicans told me that while they were all cutting weight, he was like in the sauna doing headstands and shit like that. And like even the other Mexicans were like, he's kind of weird. I'm kind of afraid of this guy, but uh, yeah, he's special and like it led to a very, very, very funny situation, to be honest. But uh, Joe Ramsey fights like he can't see a second round, and then he saw a second round because one had between 13 and 30 something pro fights. We can't really know because every time we see his record is different by like a significant amount of fights. But no, Joe did not finish this guy in the first round, and then was the most gassed out guy ever, and was still able to gut through the win, which is good to see. Even though there's some things that aren't good to see in that performance, of course, but it's good to see that if he gets adversity, if he doesn't fold, because he never got adversity before, like never at the pro level, at the amateur level, he never got any adversity. So now he got it, and it was in the weirdest way possible because he fought the weirdest guy ever. But like he still responded well to it. So I think that's a positive here, if in my opinion.
I had so much fun watching this fight, man. This
Yeah, it was the funnest shit show ever. Like, but like it was ugly as fuck though. In the second round.
Yeah, Ramsey his gut check at like in the start of that second round, but yeah, it was a war. Like it was crazy in that first round, back and forth, both of them landing shots, and Ramsey, I remember him landing those nasty elbows that he's like famous for. It feels like now because he's gotten some nasty that nasty KO with elbows. He might have had two. I can't remember.
Yeah, no, he's got the Alan Girard KO, and Molino, he was elbowing his face before he gave his back and just choked him.
Mm, yeah, so yeah, just it's great to see Ramsey go through that and still be able to pull out the win. And I was very entertained by this fight, and I've been a big fan of Jonathan Ramsey since I first saw him on Samurai. And yeah, just good to see him go through that and still be able to pull out the win. And shout out to Juan Ramon Grano for being the man during fight week.
Yeah. So after the fight, Ramsey puked for 15 minutes backstage while they took Grano to the hospital because the guy is weird. So the doctor tries to evaluate him and he's like, yeah, he's kind of weird. But everybody's like, yeah, no, he's weird. He's just weird. But for the doctor, like, he needs to know, like, is he weird or is he weird because he just got his face like caved into the ground with elbows for like almost 10 full minutes. But for 10 full minutes because it got stopped after the end of the round. But um, yeah, they took him to the hospital, so that's why the Jourdain and Diego Silva fight was kind of long before it started. Is because the ambulance left, but there was another. They brought Rusniak to the hospital too, to just to be careful. So the two ambulances that were there just left. So we need to wait for another one to arrive before we started the fight. That's the rule. So that's why the Jourdain and Silva fight, like they were both in the cage, but it took some time before it got going. But yeah, Grano gets to the hospital. Nobody follows him there because like his coach still got some other people left to coach. So basically, after the event, Etienne and I helped to bring all the Mexicans back to the hotel. So they're all there except for Juan. Nobody knows where the fuck Juan is. Juan has no phone and Juan is absolutely insane. So you don't want to let him just fucking leave the hospital because he might just become a homeless man and gets no if he does. So now we're trying to call the hospital, but there's like Gatineau is a city that like fusioned, I guess, all the other cities around. So it's weird because like you can like leave the city, go 20 minutes in like the countryside and get to a small ass village, and it still Gatineau. It just Gatineau with a like a neighborhood name or whatever the fuck. So all that to say that there's two main hospitals in Gatineau. There's Hôpital de Gatineau and there's Hôpital de Hull. Hull, which was the biggest city that got merged with Gatineau. So we were trying to figure out at which hospital was he because we kind of like they're both close by, so we didn't know where he was. Trying to call the fucking hospitals at like 1 a.m. They don't want to tell you shit. I know it's confidential, sir. Like, and I called to All tell me now he's not there. He's in Gatineau. So I called back to Gatineau and they're like, no, but we can't tell you. I'm like, bro, listen to me. This guy is a Mexican. He has a flight tomorrow. His coach is here. He's freaking the fuck out because nobody knows where he's at. He has no cell phone, no way to reach us at all. So, like, can you just, like, please fucking tell me if he's here or if he's not here? I don't want to know where he's at and what's happening. I just want to know if he's here. So finally, we fucking found him. He was at the Gatineau Hospital. And, yeah, everything turned out well. He took his flight and everything, but like we almost lost this fucking guy like at the hospital, basically, man. Which would have been like the like put the cap on this old crazy ass fucking fight week where the guy was just like the weirdest man we've ever met, to be honest. But like a delightful character somehow.
What a story! That's a funny ass story, man.
Like the fighters, they just never cease to amaze you every time, and that was the case with Juan this week. But then yeah, Danny Mallet, Matthew Rusniak. Matthew was able to have a very good first round, then got jabbed and leg kicked until he almost got finished 11 times in the last round. And that was a weird fight before because there was a lot of talk of Mallet against Ramsey. And I feel that all this talk kind of brought like a counter talk of why are people sleeping on Matthew Rusniak. And there was a lot of people picking Rusniak in this fight. So I guess all that Mallet talk kind of led to Danny Mallet getting slept on in this fight. And people need to stop sleeping on Danny Mallet, man. He's like very, very good. He's a great striker. I think one of the most technical strikers we've got, and it helps him a lot in all his game because the way he moves, the way he does stuff, the way he's able to manage the range, just makes him very, very tough to get his hand on for a takedown, for like an eventual takedown. So that's what he did there. And of course, when you got a super busted leg and like your leg is so busted that you can't move anymore, so Mallet's just like jabbing you to death and following with the left, with the right and the left hook, which he was trying to land in round one as a counter, and it just never worked. But he adjusted pretty well, and he's a good fighter. And I think it's time for big stuff for Dan Mallet for sure.
Yeah, it was a great performance by him to sort of just uh, get ahead in round, like really get ahead in round 2 and 3 and just take over the fight. But competitive first round, and props to Rusniak for hanging in there because he's one tough guy for sure.
Yeah, no, he's a warrior, man. And like what we've seen on this card is plenty guys that just refuse to get finished, even though they should. That was the case with Nagata, the case with Rusniak, and with Ramirez, of course, who we are gonna get into. But yeah, now the question. That's time for the question, man. Like if you're Samurai, what do you do? Because now you got Jesse Ronson who says he wants to vacate the 165 belt because he wants to move to 170. But you've got Mallet and Ramsey, who they kind of been hyping that fight up and saying that this could be the title fight. But they're 175ers. They don't really go to 170 at least yet. So what do you do if you're Samurai? Do you do the Mallet and Ramsey fight for the belt at 175? Do you do a 175 and a 170 belt if Ronson is back? Or you just say, we can't do this title fight without Jesse Ronson, so we make one of Mallet or a Ramsey cut to 170 to fight Jesse Ronson for that belt.
Oh man, that's a tough one. That's a tough one. Just off the top of my head, I would maybe try to play it a little bit like the I don't know. It's obviously a completely different situation because Ronson doesn't train with either of them, but like a bit of the Morgan and Frederick Duprat situation where it doesn't matter if Morgan's fighting for a belt or not, he's going to be bringing people there, and it was sort of a chance to bring the spotlight on Frederick. So I don't know if Ronson would be down for that, but as I'm sure as long as it doesn't affect his purse, he wouldn't mind if he's fighting for a belt or not there. And 2 less rounds, he'd probably be happy. But I don't know. It's a really tough situation. In a perfect world, I feel like it wouldn't be too weird to do a 175 belt and a 170 belt as long as you don't have the two on the same card. If you know what I mean. Like if you kind of spread them out, then it might not look so weird, especially because you have someone like Jesse Ronson. Like it just kind of feels like he has to be fighting for a belt when he's fighting for one of these regional promotions.
Yeah, and I'm kind of down with you to be honest because I think you gotta do the Mallet Ramsey fight, but you can't really have this division having a belt without Jesse Ronson being like the champ, bro. He's already the champ, so I think that gives him the right to try to be the champ in any other fucking division he wants to. And I don't think any of these guys are like I don't think Mallet or Ramsey is fighting Ronson because they're 4-0 and Ronson has like 30 something, even close to 40 pro fights, and like Jesse Ronson's not going up to 175 for any of these guys. He's able to do 164 for a 165-pound fight, so he's not like going 10 pounds up. And so I don't know. I think they should do like you say, maybe just put Ronson in that super fight division and let the young guns fight for the belt. But yeah, let's go to one of the highlights of the night for sure. Alain Majoric. This guy got a great story. I don't think he was destined to have a very, let's say, free life if he kept doing what he was doing. Like bro was basically showing up to parties just to fight random people and whatever, and like that never ends well when you like don't transfer that into like actual martial arts skills and stuff. But He found Pat Node, he found Sifu Patrick Marcel, his coach, and he really changed his life around, and was able to finally like fight as a professional. The thing that he always wanted to do all his life, he's now able to make money doing it, and he made money, man. It's a pro debut, but he fucking made money. Him and Julien Leblanc basically sold for like 110K worth of tickets together. So it's absolutely insane. So let's say he sold half of that. That's $50,000 worth of tickets. He gets a 15% cut of that plus his fight purse. So the guy did well. Like he did well for himself for a pro debut. So I'm just happy for him. He's good. He's got all the talent, all the things that you tend to see from Pat Node fighters. But yeah, he's got the story with it and the fan base with it. So it's another very exciting name that you can just add to any samurai card. And I think everybody's going to be pretty happy to see him around.
Yeah, that was a really good performance from him. I wasn't aware of all of his story and stuff, so that just makes it all the better. But look forward to seeing him in there again. It was a great submission win for him. Got it done quick.
Yep. Then Tommy, that was long. That was a long fight, man, because like he tried one thing, but like I'm not saying that as a criticism or nothing. It was like it was working while not working, but it was working. Like Tommy didn't lose 1 second of this fight, so why try something else? He could have tried something else, but who went for like the arm bar at the end of a round and lost his position? I know Ramsey almost got armbarred, but there's a guy who went from an armbar from the back, and oh, it's Julien in the main event. It's Julien who, in round three. At the end of round three, he went for an armbar and just lost his position and ended the fight on bottom. So Tommy didn't do that. He didn't compromise his position, and I say it every time, but I'll say it again. He's got fucking 1 hour of cage time in 4 fights, and he's an intelligent fighter over a finish-oriented fighter, and that just often leads you to the highest level of the sports, like way easier, because Tommy is not going to lose his position to try to finish a guy. He's going to stay there and keep doing what he's doing, and yes, it's going to lead to like 15 minutes of backpacking in like one of the most predictable like fight. Well, once you saw 1 minute of that fight, you knew how the 15 minutes were going to go, and they went exactly like you thought it was going to go. So like nothing very exciting there, but an amazing performance. And Ramirez has got to be given his props for not getting finished, because when there's a guy actively trying to rear naked choke you for 15 minutes and you still are able to defend them all, it's still like a moral victory, I guess. I don't know how to really describe it, but yeah, Tommy's doing work, man, and he's gonna start finishing people one day or another. But in the meantime, he's just getting wins, and he doesn't need anything else.
Yeah, it's all that experience that he has as a pro is pretty crazy, and just keeps picking these guys off and getting the decisions. This was just a great performance. Like that last one was a bit more of a firefight compared to his first two, and then this one he's just controlled and just looked really good, and I was pretty impressed by it. But in a fight, like say like 3 or 4 fights down the line, if he keeps winning them and gets the calls to the contender series, and say he doesn't have any more finishes, might have to make him do his camp with like the Jourdain brothers or Dufort, so he gets kind of crazy and fights how Dana wants him to fight on the contender series. But yeah, great job by Tommy Morrison.
Yep, absolutely. Then I want you to speak about this fight first, because that's the controversial one.
Man, this fight was crazy. I couldn't believe. Well, like I don't know. While I was watching this. Okay, so like while I was watching the second round, I was thinking for sure they're gonna stop it. For sure, it's got to be stopped. But then when Isaac got up, like his face didn't have any marks on it at all or anything. So, but yeah, Mauricio Cruz landed a lot of body shots as well, elbows to the body and pounding away. I thought it could have been stopped, but the fact that Isaac went and got the submission just shows that maybe it shouldn't have been. But it's a hard one for me to give my decision. I wasn't prepared to give a take like this for it. So, but um, I was just entertained as shit watching it, and yeah, both guys brought it. Incredible victory by Isaac, and for Mauricio to go out there as um, someone like Isaac was he has a really clean record, two impressive wins as a pro, and to almost finish him in the second. Shout out Mauricio. His record doesn't do him justice because he always brings it, and yeah.
Yeah, now the correct result is a second round TKO win for Mauricio Cruz, bro. That no, I got no doubt about that. The fight should have been stopped, like on multiple occasions, especially in the final 30 seconds. And
Yeah,
like Isaac did good to get all the way to this point because he was on bottom eating elbows for a long ass time, and I think he was able to move well, defend well, and yeah, of course the way he gets up after the round is just maybe he wasn't that hurt, but like we're not supposed to see that. We're supposed to just see the fight ended because when a guy is stuck on bottom eating elbows in his face for 30 seconds, that's kind of the like honestly it looks bad, man. To me it looks very bad because if it was the other way around, I am 100% sure that this fight is done, like 100% sure, and the referee is not supposed to say, "Oh, it's the hometown guy. I'm gonna give him some extra time." But I kind of feel that that's what happened here, and I fucking hate that did happen. To be honest, and you know how I love fucking Mauricio too, so it hurts even more. But Isaac is my friend too, so I'm happy for Isaac, and like it's not Isaac's fault that the ref fucked up here. So the fact that he was given the chance to survive that and came back and finished Mauricio in the third, that's amazing. That's one of the greatest comebacks we've seen in years. It's probably the comeback of the year, like by far, bro. I don't know how you top that, but like it shouldn't have gone there. To be honest, that's my honest take on it. Yes, of course, when you're Isaac and like bro found some things out about himself here. Like if he didn't know if he was like tough and cut for adversity or whatever, like now he knows, man. There's nothing stopping this guy. Like how are you gonna stop Isaac Bled now? Like you can. Basically, he can endure almost everything and still be like good. But yeah, no, that the ref fucked that one up. Yeah, I feel for Mauricio. I probably feel for Mauricio more than Mauricio feels for himself, to be honest. So maybe I shouldn't be. But yeah, no, that's not the right thing that happened there, for in my opinion.
yeah, and I feel like it probably will not be like if this fight had gone on and then Mauricio had done the same thing for round three and it had gotten stopped a minute in to ground and pound, people would probably be talking about it a bit more. But because uh, Isaac went on and won, people might justify it like I just tried to do before in my
Yeah,
head a bit. But uh,
yeah.
yeah,
But like,
it was a lot of unanswered shots. And when I was watching it, I was kind of thinking like if this fight was happening anywhere else, it probably would have been stopped. But it just kind of felt like he was giving him a lot of leeway as the hometown guy. But I don't know.
yeah, that's just the thing that bugs me. Like, you shouldn't be given leeway because you're the hometown guy. You shouldn't be given leeway because you work for it, because whatever reason, but not because you're the hometown guy. So that was really bugging me here. Yeah, that's basically it. No, I think I had another thing to say about that, but I kind of forgot my point. Going to another point. So maybe I'll come back around to it if I remember. But before that, Kevin Popovic, that's another crazy ass story, man. Kevin took this fight at 165. Five. Fodel never fought below 170 at the pro level. So Kevin comes to the weigh-in. He didn't cut weight. He woke up at like 169. So he had to take like one sauna or one bath, and he was on weight, and he was feeling good, like not even dehydrated or nothing. Fadel was close to dying in the sauna. Like he was not looking good at all. Like probably worse than Louis Jourdain, which is crazy to say because Louis looked like you could see through Louis at the weigh-in, basically. So yeah, that's the situation. Then they weigh in. Fadel misses weight by 2 pounds. So Kevin calls the fight off. Basically, he said, "I'm not taking that fight." And there's two ways you can see that. There's the way that, hey, you took this fight at this weight. So if your opponent misses by two, yeah, it sucks. But like, bro, you accepted the fight before, and you knew that this was a possibility, especially with a guy uh, that like wasn't supposed to fight at that weight, like a guy that never fought at that weight before. You never know if he's gonna make it, especially when he was fighting at a higher weight before. So it's kind of the risk. That's one way to look at it. The other way to look at it is Kevin was on weight at 160. He weighed 169. So basically, when he rehydrates, he's not gonna rehydrate more than the 4 pounds he had to lose. So he's gonna weigh like 170 in the cage. The guy that comes at like 168 at the weigh-in, like not 166, like the limit is supposed to be. He almost died trying to make that weight. So when he rehydrates, how big is he gonna be? Like 180, 185? So a 2 pounds weight difference at the weigh-in turns into like a 15-pound weight difference on fight night. So when you look at it that way, you kind of understand why Kevin is like, yeah, now fuck that. So, and they were negotiating for like a weight that Fodel couldn't make, like they couldn't be like heavier than for the fight, before the fight, that fight night. So they were trying to negotiate, but like it didn't work. Basically, they weren't coming to an agreement, so they called off the fight. Basically, so I go to Click MMA to roll, and I learned that like Kev's fight's called off and whatever, and I know that Kev is coming, so Kev comes in and he's kind of bummed out and everything, and then like 30 minutes later, he's like, "Hey, bro, my fight is back on. I think we got an agreement," and like the thing is that I think Fadel went to his room and said like, bro, there's no way I came all the way from Paris to get my fight called off. I'ma just fucking do the weight that he asks me to do, and I'm gonna go fight. And the thing that another thing that you can add to that is that Fadel missed his flight. Like his flight wasn't rescheduled, nothing. He fucking missed it, and he had to be rebooked the day after. So maybe if he came in the day that he was supposed to, maybe he would have had the full time to do weight correctly. But like that didn't happen. So basically, the day of the fight, it's like 4 p.m. I'm in the pool outside with Mauricio, his coach, Greg, and Charles Jourdain, and fucking Fadel is in the hotel gym with the heat pumped up to the max, and the bro is on the treadmill and like on the air bike and everything, and like bro, he's basically cutting weight for his fight that's happening in like 4 hours. So he comes in, makes the weight, whatever. So they get to fight. Fadel comes in as an amazing first round, is almost impossible to take down, but you know that Kevin was never gonna stop trying, and he needed only one. When he took him down and took his back, like you know that you don't get Kevin like off you when he's in your full back body triangle, and he worked for the choke, finally got it, then cut a Chael Sonnen promo that he basically translated in French, which was absolutely hilarious. And Greg was able to do the continue comme ça Kevin meme after, and it was just an amazing moment. So shout out to Kevin, he's our guy, and yeah, that was a we were kind of lucky to have this fight, honestly, man.
Knowing all of that now, I'm very happy that it all worked out and it was able to take place because even though I didn't understand that promo that he cut after, I could tell that it was sick. And then when you translated for it afterwards, I was pretty happy. But yeah, there was always in the back of my mind, sort of when I saw that he missed weight, that just how long until this guy is gonna like how long can he last with Kevin? Because I knew that Kevin wasn't cutting much weight, so he could probably push a pace. But yeah, he was able to in that second round look like he just took over, and good performance by him. He got another rear naked choke and got the finish. And yeah, 5-fight winning streak for Kevin now, and the sick promo cut. Um, Props to him. Hats off, Kevin.
Yeah, and it's kind of going viral on my TikTok right now too. It's like I posted it like maybe 12 hours ago now, and it is like close to like 50K views. So
Oh shit!
it's doing pretty well for him.
Damn, he's gonna be getting a big French fan base now.
Yeah, and he needs one, bro. He's from Quebec. We need to love this guy. Then Pat Connors, David Moon, that was just great, bro. I had fun throughout. David Moon's boxing is awesome. The guy is a great addition. And fucking Pat Connors, only if he found out that he needs to start fighting before round three, he would like be closer to winning these fights. But Pat Connors, no matter how hard you fucking punch him or kick him or whatever, he's gonna find a way into the fight no matter what, and he's gonna make it super exciting. And that's just what happened here, a super exciting back and forth fight between two very good high level fighters, in my opinion. Even though if you look at Connor's record, you don't really see this. Like, he's 5-7 now, it's not good at all, but the guy is a very good fighter for 5-7.
Yeah, this was a very entertaining fight to watch. Just lots of fun back and forth on the feet. More so in the third round, but Moon, I thought, won those first two rounds pretty clear. But you can give that last round to Patrick. He was pushing the pace, but Moon landed a pretty clean wheel kick. It looked like that was pretty nasty, and yeah,
Yeah, dropped him with the straight right too in the first round. Mood did some really, really cool stuff.
yeah. So it was good to see Moon back in Canada fighting, and excited to. I'm assuming that he's going to be fighting in Samurai again. So looking forward to that too. And yeah, just shout out to Patrick Connors for rallying late, and yeah, good fight.
Yep. Then Small Lagarde was not winning. Then Clip the guy fucked him up and won. And that's Small Lagarde for you. That's what he does. And let's fucking go, bro. Like, we don't get to have Strano anymore. He's suspended from everywhere. So we're gonna get Small Lagarde instead. And that's like, and say, oh, I want McDonald's. No, we got McDonald's at home. That's not this meme. Like, let's say we got Strano at home, and the Strano you got at home is Small Lagarde. That's a pretty good trade off for my opinion.
Yeah, it was a crazy comeback win again for him, like you said. So a fun fight, and if he's the new Strenya, I'm all here for it. I can't wait to see him back in the cage for Samurai.
Yep, and finally, I knew that this was a good matchup for him, but I'm so happy to see him execute Matt Bednarik. Very cool guy too, man. Like, Matt Bednarik is the guy in a room full of fighters that you'd never guess he's a fighter until he just like takes his shit off and steps on scale, and you're like, oh, okay, so this guy fights. He just looked like a journalist or whatever. Like, he super not assuming. He doesn't look like your average fighter, and I'm happy for him, bro. I'm just genuinely very happy for him because I have no idea how tough it was for him to like be 0-3, but 0-3, and like, let's say you're Guillaume Poulain 0-3. Like, it sucks. But like, bro, you kind of got smoked in all three of your fights. There's some conclusions you can take from that happening, you know? But when you're 0-3 like Bednarik, and like, you should absolutely have won the Proto Manny fight. You just got caught. And then the Matt Smith fight, yeah, maybe you didn't win that one, but like, worst case scenario, you deserve to be 1-2, and you could be 2-1 coming into that fight, but yet you're like 0-3 and nothing's working, and you're from a camp where nobody ever loses. So I don't even want to imagine like how he felt about that. So for him to just come here and execute in the first round, that's amazing, and I'm very happy for the guy.
Yeah, I was very happy to see him get his first pro win as well, and yeah, it was a slick submission that he got too. So shout out to him opening up the card out with that nice win.
Yep, absolutely. So that's it for Samurai. It was great, and man, probably like my favorite fight week, my favorite Samurai fight week ever, and that's a big part because of the hotel. To be honest, the hotel was great. Like, there was a spa, fucking sauna that we could go at any time of the day or whatever. So we of course spent a lot of time there, but like, I'm not here like to flex on you guys or anything, but I must say it because it just genuinely makes me happy that, like, on Wednesday I get some text from Charles Jourdain kind of berating me for not being there yet. And once I get there, yet he's basically the guy that I spent the most time with this weekend. Like, he was texting us, "Hey, let's meet up at the spa, man. I'm bored." And so we were there. Then we went to train. I rolled with him like at the Patno gym, and we just everywhere I was going, Charles was just there, and he was like, he's the guy, and like, he's getting super famous, bro. To be honest, when he's there in the MMA setting, everybody knows him. The Mexican fighters come up to him to take pictures and everything. You know, everybody knows the fucking guy, and somehow when he's bored, it's like me and Greg and fucking Max, like we text us to do stuff. So, like, I'm happy about that, bro. I'm just happy. It's cool to just be around this guy. Like he's casually your friend, basically.
Yeah, that doesn't sound like a bad couple days at all, man. Good for you.
Yeah, like he was testing us in the sauna too, and I passed the test, bro. I was not getting out of the sauna until he was, and we were the two final ones, but like I wasn't quitting on that one, man. I wasn't gonna be a bitch in front of Charles. So. Yeah, no, so now generally awesome event, awesome fight weekend. Like I said, very important for Samurai to have these cards where you get a little bit of everything, like not just crazy finishes all over, like we've seen plenty times. There was some really good matchmaking on that card, and it showed. We had some competitive fights, and it's great. I'm just happy that the way that it's going, and yes, of course, when you got BFL, that's like putting on an event where Dana White is like more than likely going to be there. It's tough to say that, oh yeah, 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 I'm the top MMA promotion in Canada yet. But man, Samurai might be second right now.
Yeah, they've been on, like I'd say it was between BFL and Unified for first, and BFL's been strong lately. So I'd say Samurai's been on Unified's heels the last, I don't know,
Since they've
little.
been there, basically, it's been 6 events, bro. Have you ever seen a promotion who's like basically the best after 6 events?
Yeah, it's been a pretty crazy rise for them. Like FLA is doing great things as well as, and only I
I
think
got
they've
to
got.
meet Derek, bro. Derek was there. I'm so happy, man. That's another guy I got to meet for the first time this weekend. Fucking Derek from Fight League Atlantic. That was great, man.
Yeah, it looks like he chose a good event to go out to. But yeah, Samurai's quickly like I think I've said before, they're in their top in the top three for Canadian MMA promotions pretty clearly now. So yeah, they're doing great things. It's just show after show, and they're getting the lineups are getting deeper and deeper. And this one was a very deep one to have someone like Tommy Morrison fighting early on in the prelims, and like David Moon as well. It was a really good event, and just shows how fast the promotion's going. It's kind of picked up where TKO left off as much as they could.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And I'm proud to say that it's our fucking promotion here in Quebec, man. And I'm calling these fucking fights, so it's just great, man. Life's been great, bro. I'm very happy right now. So, fill me up on some absolute now. What happened there?
Okay, so yeah, it was a pretty fun event. They had some good pro fights on there, and the amateur ones delivered too. But um, yeah, so starting off, we had Ramil Kamilov versus Roman Baru Cordova. It turned into a pretty fun fight. Ramil had lots of success in round one and round two, just out wrestling him. And when it looked like he was kind of about to break him at the end of the second, the third round started up, and Roman came out like a wild man and had his best moments of the fight there. Like he really upped the volume and was started to find the mark, but Ramil was still landing good straight shots and like heavy leg kicks there to counter back. So yeah, and at the end of the third, Ramil was able to get on top and end the fight there. But Ramil showed like usual really good entries in the wrestling, and his timing was good. But in the third, he just couldn't finish the takedowns, but he was still getting in very well. The second round was the strongest one from him, I would say. He got a takedown very early and just kept dumping him down. And near the end, he got mount in the very open of the cage and was throwing big shots. But credit to Roman, he just wouldn't go away. And yeah, he was super game in there, very showing gamesmanship, like taunting him and emoting. So it was fun to watch. But a good win from Ramil against him. The guy had 20 fights, super tough and scrappy, and he's now 6-0 since starting his pro career. I think just over 2.5 years ago. So shout out to him, and excited to see where and who he'll be fighting next. And moving on to the co-main event, Mac Larson took on Roberto Pixley, and Mac looked like he came to kill from like the moment he walked out. Uh, he fought that way too. He got to work right away, used his range really well, and dropped Roberto with the right hand as he was coming in. Uh, later on he got a hook against the cage, and he got one of his hooks in against the cage and dragged Roberto down, sunk in the rear naked choke really quickly. And third rear naked choke win as a pro, but not much else to say about that one besides it was just a really good performance from Mac Larson again, who's every time I see him, it feels like he's just looking better and better. Someone to watch in that welterweight division coming up, Champions Creed. Um, Next up we had Chris Bryan taking on Tyler Freeman. There was a great showing for Chris Bryan. He ends up getting the Ezekiel choke in the third round to climb to 2-1. Early on, he started off dropping Tyler against the fence and jumped into mount and rode out the first round from there. I believe he got the back as well at the end, so started off very strong. Landed some good shots as well. And in round two, besides a few snaps by the ref, Chris was getting him down, spending most of the round on top. But near the end of it, Tyler had his moment. He caught a kick and he got the back of Chris Bryan, but he just didn't have enough time and not enough to work with. Third round, it was just Chris Bryan got on top and latched at that Ezekiel choke, and he was pretty proud of it after two, as you should be, because it's a pretty sick submission to get. And solid performance against a guy in Tyler who had a very solid amateur career. And moving on to Nick LeBlanc versus Elias Palomera. This was a really great performance from Nick. I thought he started off with lots of pressure, and halfway through the first round, he was just started to upping his output quite a lot, putting it all on Palomares. His striking looked super crisp, and he was landing lots of straights, some good kicks, and some knees as well. So just a bit of everything. But whenever Palomares tried to make Nick back up and sort of get his respect back, Nick would just get out of range and crack him and put him back with his back against the fence. He did a really good job of just controlling the cage, and I was just super impressed by this one. Near the end of the second round, Nick hit him with some really big knees in the clinch, dropped him, and followed him to the ground and finished him with punches. So great showing from Nick, very measured in his approach, and hats off to him.
So let me ask you, amongst like those four pro level fighters for Champions Creed, like who's the one that you find like the most impressive or promising?
Well, I would have to say Ramil's on that path right now, but I definitely saw I was every time I see Mac, super impressed by him, and his striking just looked great in this one, and he's always able to get the rear naked chokes. It's really hard to pick one because I think Champions Creed did a great job of showcasing four of their top younger guys because Chris Bryan just showed great grappling against someone that is experienced in that realm as well. And Nick LeBlanc was just lighting him up on the feet, like looks so crisp, so measured in his approach and picking his shots very well. So it's really hard to just pick one guy, but
Yeah, I like all the four of them very much, to be honest, but I don't know why. I'm always very impressed by Nick LeBlanc every time he fights. I think this guy's giant. Like he could be special.
I wasn't too familiar with him before this, so it was kind of he's on like my map now. He's a really just looks so comfortable in there and very technical in his striking. Just pick the guy apart.
Yep, he's good, man. I can't wait. But Mac is crazy too. To be honest, he's very good. And like, of course, Ramil, I think by his activity, kind of is at the forefront of this group right now. So it'd be the easy answer for sure. I wanted to go with like the more special answer, but yeah, no, Ramil, I think is a crazy one. One of my favorites for sure.
Yeah, he's an entertaining guy inside and outside of the cage, I would say.
Yep.
moving on to the amateur portion of the card, we had Ethan Chung versus Dat Lee. Yeah, in the first round, Chung leaned back and countered with a nice left that dropped that Lee and swarmed him against the cage to. Or sorry, this was in the third round. Had my notes messed up a bit, but yeah, third round, Chung was able to lean back and land a really nice straight left that dropped Lee, and Lee kind of tried to recover, get up against the cage, and then yeah, Ethan Chung just swarmed him to get the finish. Dropped him again, and got on the ground. But it was a great performance from him. Round one was more competitive. Datley's hands looked good, but and he was very active off his back as well, threatening, trying to get the triangle quite a few times. But round two, Chung caught a kick and stack guard against the cage, and that's kind of where it all changed. Because he just right when he got the takedown, he landed a flurry of ground and pound shots and was just trying to put it on him. He kind of, I think he could sense it too, because when the second round ended, he stared him down a bit, and then third round he finished him. So it was a really impressive showing for someone that's 22 years old, very well-rounded game, and excited to see him fight again. So shout out to Ethan Chung. And James Goss versus Edon Shabani. Shabani was able to get his first amateur win with a big knockout in the first round. This was a very fun fight. Right away, James was putting the pressure on, and they were throwing heavy back and forth. But Hakeem pointed out on the commentary, Edon was looking to line up a big overhand right, and the second time he connected, he hurt him pretty bad and landed one more as James was rocked. And the fight was over. So shout out to Edon getting that first amateur win with a big knockout. Next up, we had Thomas Alamos versus Steve Seibert. And this one started off super fast. Thomas got the better of an exchange and shoveled Seibert with a left hook, but he recovered and shot for a takedown, drove him across the cage, and got him in his corner. And that looked like the biggest reason he won the fight, because once he got that, from there on, he was able to get the back every single round. Shout out to Thomas. He did show good rear naked choke defense and never gave up. He was able to get out of some bad positions at the ends of round 2 and 3, but it just wasn't enough. And Steve Seibert was able to get the decision win to move to 2-1 as an amateur. Next up, we had Adam Brezanova versus Tyrone Clemson. Brezanova was able to get the takedowns early in each round, show great control over the 19-year-old Tyrone Clemson. Round two was definitely Adam's best round. He was able to get into mount, land some good ground and pound. You could definitely see as well that Tyrone was more comfortable in the third round. He's only 19, and it was his first fight, so you'd expect that. But so it was good to see him settle in each round a bit more and do better on the feet. But it was just the wrestling of Brezanova that was the difference in this one. And Clemson was very tall as well, so yeah, congrats to Brezanova for getting his first amateur win. I'm excited to see Tyrone Clemson get in there next time as well, because someone so young can make big improvements to fight. And the first fight of the night was Micah McLaren versus Ethan Mind. Really good amateur debut from Ethan. He was looking good, from able to get the standing guillotine in round 2. Latched it up super quick, got the tap halfway through the round. McLaren did have some success in wrestling to end the first round, pushing a relentless pace in the last 30 seconds or so. Managed to get side control too to end the round, but when he went back to that well in round 2, Ethan was wise to it and stuffed the takedown and cinched up that guillotine. But yeah, Ethan looked good on the feet too. He was showing good. He was striking him from range pretty well too, and it was actually some strikes in the second round that caused Micah to shoot in for the takedown, which let Ethan get to the submission win. And that was the event for Absolute MMA. Shout out to them. It was a entertaining card, and yeah, four pros that I believe have very bright futures, and some amateurs in there as well.
Yeah, for sure. Now, shout out to them for putting on these events. It's cool to see like the absolutes, the rumble in the cage, is that these type of shows that are organized basically by gym owners, and that are basically done to showcase the talent that they have, and they're able to find them good matchups and put them into good scraps to give them experience. So you're always happy to see that. And yeah, bro, that's it. I'm dying, bro. I was yawning in your face and shit, so I need to get to sleep, man, because it's still 2 big days of travel coming up, but I'll be there soon, man. And then, fuck, it's gonna be a crazy month coming up with the UFC, BFL, and then everything in between, basically. So yeah, thanks everybody for listening. Like, follow, subscribe, do whatever the fuck you please, and see you next time.